Hey guys, what's going on? This is Pastor Sean. I'm actually driving to my parents' house. I do apologize for, how the video looks, but I don't really know how else to do this because it's not allowing me to pick the option to go live on Facebook, and I have run out of room on my phone to make any videos, so I am now doing this weird video where I'm uploading just directly to Facebook by doing this. So while I'm driving around, I wanted to really quick, my name is Pastor Sean, and I just wanted to tell you guys about my channels. I do Death Church Radio and Death Church Radio Podcast, also the Sean C. Stukey Show on Facebook. So those are the accounts. It's pretty much all the same channel, and I upload every Sunday and have been for the last about year and 2 months. But actually, I've been doing Christian videos where I've been doing uploads off and on since 2011. And so what I wanted to talk about with today's video that I actually made for my phone, but the phone said I wasn't able to continue going past over 13 minutes when talking about a specific subject because I ran out of space. But anyways, so I wanted to talk about incels for today's video. So this video is going to be a max about maybe, I would say 15 minutes long. So, and I do apologize of how the thing looks here. I don't have a cup holder to put my phone so you can see me while I'm driving really well. So, but anyways, hopefully this is going to work out for YouTube. But, so I want to talk about incels for today's episode. I have been watching videos on incels for the last 2 weeks here, and especially this guy named Elliot Rodger, and with the Elliot Rodger vlog that actually got deleted from YouTube. And the reason as to how, sorry, I'll turn that down. Anyways, so what I want to discuss is, I guess technically I've been studying for the last maybe week to 2 weeks, like the psychology of someone who would identify themselves as an incel. So the way of how I know who Elliot Rodger is actually not through the videos of YouTube or news posts back in 2014 when he did enact that massacre he talked about. Unfortunately, what happened is that I actually found out about Elliot Rodger through my brother's friend, because my brother, his best friend from California, being that we are all from that area, maybe I hold it like that. Okay, so just from that area in California, because we moved over from the East Bay in California to here in Arizona about 10 years ago. So the way of how I found out about this guy is that he actually, while on his rampage in Santa Barbara, he actually shot at my brother's best friend from his SUV. So my brother's friend over there was walking around the college area back when he was going to college there. I don't know if they went to the same college, but he definitely lived in the same area, and he shot at my brother's friend. So missed him actually and hit the woman in the stomach that was walking behind him, or on the, actually it was the side of him. So that's how I found out about that guy. But I wanted to talk about the psychology and philosophy of incels and just get into the brain set or the mindset as to why do they think the way that they think. Because to me it's just been really I wouldn't say something that is necessarily something I can't comprehend, because for many years, without realizing it, I would say about myself that I would classify as an incel, at least back then. So it's just, I can understand also, I guess I can't comprehend it, but I can understand what led up to such violence back then, and stuff that actually happens at least in America now, it actually happens on a pretty fairly regular basis with mass shootings and kids that feel that they are just, just not able to have I don't know what, I guess they would deem like a regular existence or something. I'm not exactly, like, just being accepted, not feeling, the sting of being lonely all the time, having a really hot girlfriend, like things like that, or even just having a girlfriend in general. And see, that was just not even necessarily the problem that I had. It was just, mine more stemmed from when I left the church in 2013, because I was very, very comfortable at the time in my own skin, for the most part. For years on end, when I was going to church like 4 or 5 days a week, I was very comfortable with myself, and also at the time when I was doing meditation and things like that. So, I mean, way back in the day, back in like 2002, 2003. Sorry about that. The thing is that I do understand what could have led up to the violence because of bullying. Like I was saying, like the sting of just loneliness and not having, having these different problems where you just feel like you're a beta male in the society that you live in. And these are just things that are just products of your society. It's just not I just think if there's a possibility that Elliot Rodger just had one really good friend, or if his father did a much better job in parenting him, as opposed to just, from what I understand from the situation of this guy's background, it sounded like this guy's dad just threw money at problems to make them go away. So he was essentially stuck in his thought process of, oh, I'm just never good enough even though I have all this money. That's how it came off to me. And also talking about from a Christian perspective and a Christian mindset, when you walk with Jesus and realizing that Satan is prowling the earth like a roaring lion, that I also heavily believe, without needing to see evidence of it, just because I've seen it so much and it's happened to me for years on end, is that the devil was whispering to Elliot Rodgers to do this. And I can vouch for this being just for the fact that back when I was much younger, back in my teens, that I used to use makeshift Ouija boards that I would make myself. And, like how a prisoner or an inmate would make like chess boards out of basically paper and things like that. That's how I made my own boards, because I couldn't afford at the time, until I got the job at the car wash, to afford like a $20 Ouija board. So I would just make my own, and I was dabbling into the dark arts very heavily back then, and I would hear voices all the time from, you need to kill your father, you need to kill your mother, you need to shoot the kids at school, like all these different things, which led up to a specific day where I was being bullied. Hold on just a second. There's actually a bunch of sheriffs at this Bank of America. Sorry guys, I'm going to keep the phone right here just for a sec. Sorry about that. So, I don't want them to see me drive around with me holding my phone, because of that law that passed here in Tucson about you could get a ticket for being on your phone or texting and stuff like that. So anyways, I can definitely say for a fact that with Elliot Rodger and other people like him, he was hearing the whispers of demons to destroy people, just like how I used to hear it to destroy my own family and to destroy the people around me in my society, which actually made me think during a drunken stupor I had. Okay, sorry. All right, a drunken stupor that I had. That what happened was my now girlfriend. I mean, I've been referring to her as my lady friend for a while on this channel, but now she's officially my girlfriend, or was going to be. She asked me, what is your deepest, darkest secret, while I was in a drunken stupor like 3 weeks ago. And I said the thing I thought of was, I came close to shooting up my high school when I was like 14. So 13, 14, something like that. it wasn't even really severe bullying, at least from how I look at it nowadays, but it was definitely something where it was just like a specific day. And I remember this was in the morning before I had to go to, I don't know what class, like maybe an art class or something, but I remember it being when I was a freshman in high school that I was getting bullied this particular morning by a bunch of people. And not to say that I didn't deserve it or anything, it's just because I was just always playing the victim back then. I was actually bullying people too in different ways when looking back in this and really thinking on it. So, but this particular day, I was just really, really upset and very, very angry. I was a very, very angry person back then. I was incredibly angry all the time, to the point where one of my old best friend back when I was in like a little kid from elementary school throughout high school, he told me basically he said, Sean, you need to calm down or you're going to start having stomach ulcers, because I would be sitting there in my brother's room or my room or at somebody's house hanging out, and I would be shaking because of how angry I was, like to the point where I thought I was going to start spitting up blood. So I grabbed my friend, who was this goth guy in high school, and both of us were we were outwardly Satanists. At this moment, actually, we weren't. But it became so that me, him, and this other guy named Tim were outwardly Satanists when everybody else was just lukewarm Christian or lukewarm Catholic or Mormon or whatever. Because at the age of 14 is when I left the Mormon church, and it kind of just went completely downhill from there. I had absolutely no self-confidence. I felt that at the time, because of my father's anger and him lashing out, and also other people lashing out around me, where I felt I came from a dysfunctional household, and also from the society, the environment that I was living in at the time was like the perfect cocktail to just have no sense of self-worth. So I was completely, not completely, but for the most part, I was very angry all the time. So, which led up to me asking my Satanist friend, hey, you better get ready because we're going to start buying some guns and some bullets. And I told him, I hate everybody at this school. And the thing is that a lot of the kids, even especially on the varsity football team in my high school, I grew up with those guys. And even as a young kid in elementary